Welcome to CCN Midday News. I am your host, Kushner. Here are some of your top stories for today, April 8th. Donald Trump has a stake in the hydroxychloroquine Drugmaker. The Trump team also preps plans to reopen the economy that depends on testing. And Trump also removed an independent watchdog for coronavirus funds, upending an oversight panel. Wisconsin voters waited for hours while others stayed at home amidst the virus. An alt-right extremist helped design the facial recognition software being used by the federal law enforcement. A pastor wouldn't stop holding church services, so the landlord changed the locks. And Jared Kushner has coordinated distribution of medical supplies with Republican donors. And lastly, the grind in New York doesn't stop. Dudes selling Corona packages on a New York subway. Let's get to the news. President Donald Trump reportedly owns a stake in a company that produces hydroxychloroquine, the anti-malaria drug he has repeatedly taunted as a coronavirus treatment, even though his experts say that there is no strong evidence it works. Trump has a small personal financial interest in Sanofi, the French drug maker that makes Hydroxychloroquine, the brand name version of hydroxychloroquine, the New York Times reported on Monday. In addition, Sanofi, the largest shareholders, include a mutual fund company run by majority Republican donor Ken Fisher, the paper said. Trump's three-family trust, as of last year, each had investments in a mutual fund whose largest holdings was Sanofi, according to the Times. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross also has ties with the drug maker, the Times has reported. The White House is developing plans to get the U.S. economy back into action. That depends on testing far more Americans for the coronavirus than had been possible to date, according to people familiar with the matter. The effort would likely begin in smaller cities and towns in states that haven't been heavily hit by the virus. Cities such as New York, Detroit, and New Orleans and other places the president has described as hotspots would remain shuttered. The planning is in its early stages, but with encouraging signs that the outbreak has plateaued in New York after an aggressive but economically costly social distancing campaign. President Donald Trump and his top economic advisor are once again boldly talking about returning Americans to work. Larry Kudlow, the director of the National Economic Council, said on Tuesday to Fox News that reopening might begin within 4 to 8 weeks. President Donald Trump has upended the panel of federal watchdogs overseeing the implementation of the $2 trillion coronavirus law, tapping a replacement for the Pentagon official who was supposed to lead the effort. The panel of inspector generals had named Glenn Fine, the acting Pentagon watchdog, to lead the group charged with monitoring the coronavirus relief effort. But Trump on Monday removed Fine from his post, instead naming the EPA inspector general to serve as the temporary Pentagon watchdog in addition to his other duties. That decision began circulating on Capitol Hill on Tuesday morning, effectively removing Fine from his role overseeing the coronavirus relief efforts, since the new law permits only current inspector generals to fill the position. Mr. Fine is no longer on the Pandemic Response Accountability Committee. The spokeswoman for the Pentagon Inspector General Office confirmed. She added that Fine will return to his Senate-confirmed post, as the Principal Deputy Inspector General of the Pentagon. Fine's removal of Trump's latest incursion into the community of independent federal watchdogs, punctuating most dramatically by his late Friday ouster of the intelligence community's Inspector General Michael Atkinson, whose handling of the whistleblower's report ultimately led to Trump's impeachment. Despite the federal health recommendations, thousands of Wisconsin voters waited hours in long lines outside of overcrowded polling stations on Tuesday so that they could participate in a presidential primary election that tested the limits of the electoral politics in the midst of a pandemic. Thousands more stayed home, unwilling to risk their health, even as Republican officials pushed forward with the election amidst a stay-at-home order. But many of the potential voters who remained in their homes complained that the absentee ballots they had requested never showed up. Polls began closing Tuesday night, but the court's ruling appeared to prevail, results from being made public early than next Monday. Joe Biden hopes the state will help deliver a knockout blow to Bernie Sanders in the nomination fight, but the winner may be less significant than Wisconsin's decision to allow voting at all. Its ability to host an election during a growing pandemic could have significant implications for upcoming primaries, even the fall general election. On Tuesday, the Huffington Post reported that a far-right extremist helped develop a facial recognition software of Clearview AI, a tech company that is partnering with the federal, state, and local law enforcement, and which has raised red flags among the civil liberties organizations. Clearview is one of the most powerful forms of facial recognition technology ever created, according to the New York Times. With more than 3 billion photos scrapped from social media profiles and websites, its image database is almost 7 times the size of the FBI's. Its mobile app can match names to faces with the tap of a touchscreen. The technology is already being integrated into augmented reality glasses so that people can identify almost anyone they look at. A pastor in Lodi, California, continued to hold church services despite the coronavirus concerns and gathering restrictions. After a police warning, the landlord changed the locks to keep the congregation out. A lawyer for the congregation says it intends to sue, alleging the state lockdown order violates civil liberties. Reporter Robert Costa revealed that Jared Kushner has been coordinating the distribution of the medical supplies with Republican donors. The Washington Post national political reporter said that President Donald Trump's son-in-law has sparked confusion in those efforts by placing himself in the chain of command, and both Kushner and the trade advisor Peter Navarro were contradicting advice from the White House medical experts. Navarro and other Trump advisors, including Giuliani, had been overriding medical experts on the effectiveness of the hydroxychloroquine against the coronavirus. But Costa said the president's confidence in that unproven drug was not matched by science. With all of the heartbreak and dismay and chaos, in a sense, that this pandemic has brought to us, it is nice to see some people still pushing forward to bring a little light to a situation. But ending this newscast, we would like to bring some light to the grind that doesn't stop. A dude selling coronavirus packages on a New York subway. Here's the clip.
I got your corona package. You get 2, man, and you get 2 sets of gloves for only $5. Now, who want to live? That's all I want to know. Who want to live?
Once again, thank you for watching CCN Midday News. Hope you enjoy. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification button so you will never miss another news update. Have a great day. Peace.